Good morning and welcome to another episode of Moms in Real Estate in the Morning. Kristen and I are so excited to be here, and we're always excited to have our in-house finance expert, Danielle, with us. Hi, friend.
Hi.
So I know this is our Money Matters episode, but we were just talking about how it's the end of the year and all of us are probably, most moms are off schedule and they have a million things happening. And one of the biggest topics happening in our community right now is how in the heck do I manage all the things? How do I keep my schedule going? How do I balance all the things? And so we just thought we'd kind of have a fun topic around that and how we're doing in the holiday season and how we're going to go into 26 with more intentionality.
Yeah. And then also today is one of our giveaways, still celebrating 40,000 members. And so today we have Taylor, who has the Mompreneur Co. You guys, these planners are made specifically for moms in real estate. And so she's giving away one of those today.
Oh, I love that. Those have been so popular. I see, I always get FOMO when Taylor and Ashley go to events and then they like collaborate. And I'm like, oh, I just want to hang out at their booth and buy all their goods. And so I love that.
I know. Well, why don't I'm just going to you guys, we have a spreadsheet where you guys specifically have told us what you're struggling with in your business. And so me, Danielle, and Randy are going to pick one out, and we'll let Danielle start. And just kind of give you guys some tips on what we're doing with the areas where you're struggling. And I think the one that I'm seeing the most on here when I'm scrolling through is consistency.
Yeah. Does it say consistency with or just consistency in general?
Honestly, most of them just say consistency.
Okay. So this might be a hot take that's not so hot. So what you have to do, and what I've done, because I'm no expert in this, but what I've done to become consistent. So one thing that I did with social media, for example, is I decided about a year and a half ago that I was going to post every single day. And it didn't matter what I was going to post, that I was going to show up on there and I was going to post every single day. And so I built a plan around getting help to make sure that that happens, batching my content, and just deciding to show up. So when you want to be consistent, the number one thing that I would say works for me is deciding and then having a plan that helps support you in being consistent, so that you're not just I want to be consistent all of a sudden. You're actually mapping out what is it going to take for me to be consistent and how am I going to prioritize the thing I want to be consistent in, and then having that planning and not getting distracted by any outsized noise. Right. So if it's social media, if it's sales, if it's the way that you're niching down in your market, and then you see somebody else doing it different, don't pivot. Stick with what you had, because I feel like most entrepreneurs, what I see, and this applies to any type of entrepreneur, is they decide on something, they start being consistent, they're not getting immediate results, and then they get shiny object syndrome and they pivot. And they don't give it enough time to actually start to get some momentum.
Yeah. So I love that. I'm going to piggyback off that because it's similar to what I do. So having a plan is so important, but where are you putting that plan? And so for me, it's okay, so if I am wanting to be consistent in my CRM, which is where I'm at right now, I'm I am committed to this thing, right? So I had to go into my calendar and I had to put blocks on my calendar that are non-negotiable. Okay. So now I know that every single day for 30 minutes, I'm sitting in that bad boy. There's things to do. And so no matter what, that 30 minutes is a non-negotiable for me. I know you guys have heard on Money Matters, with Danielle, she talks about her so-to, and she taught me that I need to have a so-to, and I know she teaches not as often, but I have it every single Wednesday on my calendar for an hour. I'm spending time in my bank accounts. And so it's just in all of my spreadsheets and all the things. So that's a consistent thing that I wanted to do to move forward with my money habits. So time blocking, whatever you're working on, the consistency is so, so important. So mapping that out. And
let's talk about that really quick, Kristen, because you've been so-toing for a year now. And one of the things that I tell all my clients is that if you do this, if you decide, if you show up, if you take action and you're consistent, you will make more money. Are you making more money now than you were a year ago?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And you guys, it's so funny because I always say some of the biggest hacks in business, it's the easiest stuff. We just we make it hard. Right. And so I think that there's so many times with, money's been so hard for me, but I'm it's It's actually not that hard. I just am like in my own way. So if I have it on my calendar and I'm like, no one can book an appointment at that time, then it's really good.
Well, and I want to piggyback on what both of you said, because I agree with all of that. And so like you, Danielle, whatever I'm going to do, I commit to for a full year. I open up for new ideas, for innovations, for pivots, for changes in Q4. And then I marry it, no matter if I love it or hate it. I give it a whole full year so that I can actually see the ROI. And then like you, Kristen, like I'm really good about my calendar. And in 2026, I'm building my businesses for just more things to be on my calendar, because that's the place I show up. And if it's on my calendar, I don't miss it. But that said, when we talk about hacks and like keeping our head in the game, you know, motivation is failing. Like we don't all have strong motivation all the time. What we have to have is strong discipline. And I find in order to have strong discipline, I have to hack my mind. So one of the things that I do in addition to all of this is I get really excited in 2020 at the end of every year, because I outline all of my company closures and all of my days off. And I make a 1-page document, and I literally sit and I look at like what federal holidays can I turn into a 4-day weekend? What can I turn into, a family vacation? And I have it outlined as a calendar. And so when I'm working and I'm in the thick of things, whether it's a new year, whether it's before spring break, and I'm like dedicated to that calendar and I'm trying to be consistent and I'm trying to show up, I can look and go, okay, it's only 10 more days until I'm completely out for a week with my family, right? Because I don't believe in balance, but I believe in intentional imbalance. And so when I can hack and go, okay, I just got to keep my head in the game for a little bit more and be all business because I'm about to be all family, that helps me. And so too often we are not calendaring and prioritizing our life first and our family first. So that's one of the ways that I have really hacked myself to be consistent, because I want to know that when I go off for that, week-long New Year's trip or whatever it is with my family, that I can completely disconnect. And I can only do that if I've actually shown up and done the work right ahead of time.
Yeah.
I want to add something to that. So it's called your life razor. So there's a book that I reread a lot. It's called the five wealth types. And it's not all about money. There's only one of the 5 types that is about money. And what he talks about in the book is creating your life razor. And your life razor, this could be like your commitment, right? So like my life razor this year, mine was showing up as team mom for my son in baseball. And what that does is it creates this ripple effect. So your life razor has to be measurable. It has to have a ripple effect, and it has to be something that motivates you as part of your core values. So it shows people that I'm the type of mom and entrepreneur that's still going to show up for my kids. It shows my kids that I'm going to show up and be intentional, and I'm not going to have my phone out, and I'm going to be there. And it creates that ripple effect because the people that work around me see that I'm doing that consistently. So you could even start there, like to piggyback off what Randy's saying is like, what's your life razor for the next 12 months? And then how do you build your plan around that?
Which is such a good segue into the next like big thing that you guys are struggling with. And I will say right now, I've always struggled with this, is like the balancing your business and balancing being a mom and a wife and all the things, right? And so it's really like, for me, I again struggle with this all the time, but I love what you just said, Danielle, because I think I haven't heard that before. And I feel like that's really, really good. The other thing I try to do is like, it's a non-negotiable for me to drop off and pick up, because that's really, really good time spent with my kids where we're having like those good conversations. And that has been something that has been really, really good for me. As well as like, I feel like if I can just like be done by 5 o'clock, like get home and maybe like wrap up for an hour, I have to leave my phone in another room. Otherwise, like I get so sidetracked by all the things, the ding, 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 ding on my phone. And so definitely like putting my phone aside.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's even like, I've heard other life razors that are like every Tuesday you go on a date night with your spouse, right? So it's what we do is we tend to plan out our business and we don't plan out our personal life. So I love what you said, Randy, about how you went through and really planned your vacations, because when I talk about this a lot, and I know, Kristen, you've heard it, Randy may not have, but it's your contentment filter. And you filter everything through that to make sure that you're in alignment, which makes you feel better about that harmony. I think balance is bullshit. I call it harmony. We're searching for harmony, right? And so I think if you prioritize fun, like how are you planning out your fun first, and then build the rest of your business plan around that, it makes your business life more fun too.
Totally.
100%. One hack on my calendar to this day, if you look at Calendly, as my kids got older, I had options for them. So there's a mommy and me section, and like they even, especially, so my with my youngest son, my goal was to date him all through high school, which I did, just have time with him. But to this day, any of my kids or grandkids can go on there and there is availability on my calendar. They can pick bowling, they can pick movies, they can pick whatever. And I think it's just little tiny stuff like that we can do that, like, not, yes, Danielle, like same thing, scheduling the dates, scheduling, I have my work late nights where my family knows, like, if I'm going to take an evening appointment, it's going to be on one of these 2 days. So I think setting those expectations are huge, but also those fun things where it's like, hey, I've already like made sure, I don't work late on Wednesday nights and this, but if you ever want extra time too, like pick what you want. Like, and so I've always wanted them to feel prioritized because they always see me telling everybody else like, oh yeah, let's get that on my calendar. Let's, and I always wanted them to know they had a way to get on my calendar too, and pick fun things. And so it's funny too, because it's a great conversation starter. I can't tell you how many people say to me, like, I almost wanted to book a mommy and me date. Like they love it, and so, but it also sets the tone to your point of like the ripple effect, Danielle. Yeah. People understand that like, yeah, my kids are huge and my grandkids are huge in my life and they're going to be a part of it. And I prioritize them,
Well, and so if you're somebody that's listening to this and you're feeling like, gosh, I really struggle with boundaries, doing something like what we're talking about helps teach people that are around you that you have boundaries. Because when you stick to it, it's easier to stick to a fun boundary, right? Than a hard boundary that requires a tough conversation. So this is starting to build also that muscle of boundary setting in a really healthy and productive way.
Yes. I love that. I was going to say about like that muscle thing too. Like Danielle, I guarantee like now that you've committed to posting every day and it's been a while, like you don't have to like have that necessarily like on your calendar because you're like, I'm just doing it. Right. So as you do these things consistently, all of a sudden, like I taught a class on social media to a real estate team a couple of weeks ago. And they're like, I was helping them come up with their cadence. And they were like, well, is this what you're doing? And I said, I literally do more than that, but I had to do this at first in order to it's just like natural for me to do it throughout the day. And so I think that's another thing to point out, like you will all of a sudden just build this as something that you do.
Yeah. Like it wasn't enjoyable for me. It wasn't something but I knew I had to do it. And so it's decision, like there's no secret sauce. Right. There's no magic wand. There's no silver bullet. It's literally decision and action. That's it.
That's it.
We all know that. Well, we all know that one person that like has success that it just doesn't like, and I don't mean this bad, but we all know a person that has success that we're like, wow, I just like, you just wouldn't have thought that person had it. But what I recognize is that person always has the audacity. Like they always just do it. They do the thing. And it always is such a, like, it's a humbling reminder too. Like, execution is like, execution supersedes even skill. Like when you're just 100%. An executor, like it's wild. And so I tell people all the time, like, don't tell me you can't be successful, because I know people that are like way less gifted than you that are successful, but they're just executors.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I feel like that's like a good amount for today. And I think we should do the giveaway now, because that actually goes perfect with our conversation. Because if you get this amazing planner from Taylor, like how great is that going to be?
Yeah. Get ready for 2026. Okay. Let's pull it on here. Okay. So will you spin the wheel for us? Angelica, spin the wheel. Here we go. Woo, there it goes. I always wish we could hear the music.
I know. We need the like click, 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 click thing too.
Right. All right. That's a Miranda Moore. Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations, Miranda. And thank you, ladies, for tuning in and joining us. I think we don't have a morning show the next 2 weeks, right, Kristen?
Yeah, guys. I hope everyone is taking time off and like recharging for 2026 and spending time with their families.
Yeah, 100%. But we will be back here after the first of the year, and we're going to have some great morning shows, workshops, and masterclasses coming up for you. So make sure you're jumping over to Mire, which is Meyer.com, and check out all of our stuff. We also have a new website coming in the new year that you won't want to miss either. So, all right, ladies. Thank you, Danielle.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye, guys.